Hello, person named Agma Schwa. I'm Shadriarch, and my submission for the second Curse Conlang Circus is Geolaŋ, the secret language of geologists. I'll begin with a disclaimer, since in my effort to create a rock-based language, I may or may not have created another illegal language for the circus to deal with. This is because building cairns, at least in national parks, appears to be quite illegal. Quote, the penalties for making these cairns are equivalent to those for vandalism. Dubbed rock graffiti, cairns are considered malicious mischief and warrant hefty fines that vary depending on location, and in some instances rock stacking is punishable by jail time. We'll get into why this might matter later, but if anyone plans on quote-unquote speaking Geolaŋ, make sure you aren't breaking any laws while you do so. With that aside, let's get into phonetics. As you might be able to tell, this is not the IPA, and in fact there are no sounds to speak of in this language. These are petremes, the equivalent of phonemes in Geolaŋ. Rather than sounds, petremes correspond to a particular commonly found rock, such as shale or limestone. Geolaŋ also diverges from traditional spoken languages in that this table does not actually include every possible petreme. In theory, Geolaŋ incorporates all 5,000 known mineral species, while also considering size, coloration, or any number of other factors. These are romanized as R plus that particular petreme's qualifier. The petremes listed here are simply those which a Geolaŋ speaker would use or encounter most often. When using petremes to construct a litheme, the equivalent of lexemes in Geolaŋ, they will be placed from left to right on their level. The orientation of a cairn may then be determined by which way the phrase and sentence markers face, but more on that can be found in the full document. On to the grammar. For nouns, very little conjugation is necessary due to the ordering of sentences and phrases, but it is important to note grammatical number. Geolaŋ has three grammatical numbers, singular, plural, and superplural. In order to determine the grammatical number of a given rock, a Geolaŋ speaker performs a test using the Mohs hardness scale. A rock on the low end of its relative hardness range is singular, a rock with average hardness is plural, and a rock with high hardness is superplural. For example, if Gabbro was part of a plural litheme, we would determine its approximate range on the Mohs hardness scale, 6 to 7, then find the middle portion of that range, 6.3 to 3 to 6.65. I've included a portion of the table for the hardness ranges of the commonly found petremes, but the rest of it can be found in the full document. Here's a portion of the pronouns table, pretty simple here. Now verbs are where it can get difficult for an inexperienced Geolaŋ speaker. Verbs are conjugated by age according to period, which corresponds to a given tense. The age of a rock is best determined through the use of a thermal ionization mass spectrometer. Using this system, Geolaŋ has separate conjugations for remote past, past, near past, present, near future, future, and remote future, where the remote past is indicated by a petreme being from the Cambrian or Ordovician periods, the past is indicated by a petreme being from the Silurian or Devonian periods, the near past is indicated by the Carboniferous or Permian periods, the present is indicated by the Mesozoic period, the near future is indicated by the Paleogene period, and the future is indicated by the Neogene period, and the remote future is indicated by the Quaternary period, which is our current period. Makes sense, right? Still, it isn't guaranteed that a Geolaŋ speaker can find a rock from a particular period, or that they have one in their collection. There is a process for the irregular conjugation of verbs, although doing so is looked down upon as a mark of an inexperienced speaker. In order to mark a rock for a different period than it is, one may place a fossil from the corresponding tense and period on the left side of the petreme which begins the verb that needs to be contextualized. Here is a table with fossils that live specifically only during their own period, though any may be used as long as they can be found only from the period of the desired tense. Verbs continue in their complexity with grammatical mood, of which Geolaŋ has 5 separate indicators for infinitive, indicative, subjunctive, potential, and prescriptive. A given Geolaŋ phrase may only have one mood in its cairn, since a mood is denoted by a change in location. Preferably, these cairns are as close to one another as possible, but this rule may be ignored to offer context. For instance, the locations which will be used to translate the passage provided are as close to New York City as possible, since the B movie takes place there. The infinitive is denoted by being placed on or atop a plateau, the indicative is denoted by being placed on or atop a mountain, the subjunctive is denoted by being placed at the entrance of or within a cave, the potential is denoted by being placed on or atop a volcano, whether active or dormant, and the prescriptive is denoted by being placed at or within a canyon. A Geolaŋ speaker indicates the location of the next cairn in a sentence or phrase by placing a map or pamphlet beneath the cairn which shows the site of the next cairn. The number of rocks are set in a pile equal to the position of the cairn in its phrase to denote the order of phrases or cairns in a sentence. Here I will be going through syntax in the form of a simplified cairn diagram, but more on syntax can be found in the full document. This cairn translates to, I found a cool rock. Something to note for Geolaŋ is that if a speaker is referring to a particular rock or other geological phenomenon that may reasonably be included in the cairn, it must be. Such petremes are not subject to hardness qualifiers, or any other qualifier that may have been otherwise imposed on them. Cairns and Geolaŋ are written, stacked in SVO word order from bottom to top, and used to be read the same way. However, it became more natural for readers to read top to bottom, which resulted in Geolaŋ being written in SVO but read in OVS word order. So this is written, I found cool rock, this particular rock, but it is read, rock, this particular rock, cool, found, I. A coupled phrase is the term for a cairn that has fallen over, whether naturally or as an intentional interference in communication. Toppled phrases can be difficult or impossible to read since the order of the cairn may have been obscured partially or entirely. If a Geolaŋ speaker comes across a toppled phrase which they cannot parse, they may simply place a piece of natural glass atop the cairn, which signifies a request for clarification. With all context out of the way, we can begin with the reading of the passage. I say reading, but I will simply be saying the English names of the rocks and locations. Since it is being read, we will follow the traditional OVS word order. Qualifiers such as hardness and age are written on the diagrams, but most do not appear in accompanying images. Complete cairns will be displayed alongside complete sentences, and maps and position rocks will not be. Here goes. Cave, Mesozoic diorite, Mesozoic breccia, low hardness marble, low hardness granite, pumice, conglomerate, map, one rock. Volcano, small stone, low hardness siltstone, low hardness sandstone, yellow rock, Mesozoic pumice, pyrite, low hardness marble, low hardness granite, map. Mountain, average hardness shale, average hardness slate, small rock, Mesozoic amphibolite, talc, pyrite, low hardness amphibolite, map, 3 rocks. Plateau, small stone, low hardness granite, low hardness limestone, low hardness siltstone, small rock, large rock, rhyolite, siltstone, rhyolite, low hardness amphibolite, map. Mountain, small stone, Paleogene pumice, low hardness siltstone, low hardness sandstone, yellow rock, granite, gabbro, talc, pyrite, small rock. Mountain, Mesozoic sandstone, Mesozoic shale, pyrite, low hardness siltstone, low hardness sandstone, yellow rock, grey-whack, map, small rock. Volcano, small stone, high hardness siltstone, high hardness sandstone, yellow rock, pumice, conglomerate, peridotite, rhyolite, talc, pyrite, Mesozoic diorite, Mesozoic breccia, high hardness siltstone, high hardness salt, map, rocks. Rocks. Mountain, smallstone, Cambrian slate, low hardness marble, low hardness limestone, low hardness greywack, average hardness siltstone, average hardness sandstone, yellow rock, talc, conglomerate, slate, granite, limestone, one rock. A link to the full document can be found in the description, and thanks for watching.